Welcome back to the English Hour. I'm Sophia. And today, we're diving deep into a topic that so many of you ask about: how to learn English effectively. And of course, joining me is our regular guest, Jacob.
Hey Sophia, always a pleasure to be here. Learning English, wow, that's such a big topic. So many people struggle with it, but also, so many succeed.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to remind everyone that English isn't something you just finish learning. It's a continuous process.
Yes, even native speakers learn new words all the time. I mean, think about slang, new expression, or technical terms. Language grows.
True. Jacob, let's start with a simple question. Why do you think people struggle with learning English, even when they try really hard?
Great question. I think a big reason is fear. Fear of making mistakes, sounding silly, or being judged. That fear holds a lot of people back.
I agree. And I also think people focus too much on grammar, and not enough on using the language. Like, they know the rules but can't speak.
Exactly. It's like trying to learn how to swim by reading a book, but never jumping in the water.
Ha, that's a perfect example. You need to practice in real life, speak, listen, read, and write every day, even if it's just for 15 minutes.
I always say immerse yourself, watch movies, listen to podcasts, read children's books if you're a beginner. Don't wait to be perfect.
And that's something we want our listeners to really remember. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress.
And let's also talk about mindset. Some learners believe English is too hard or not for them. That belief can block learning.
So true. If you tell yourself it's too hard, your brain starts believing it. But if you say, I can improve, you actually will.
And it helps to celebrate small wins. Like, today I learned 5 new words, or I understood one sentence in an English video.
Yes, small steps matter. They build confidence, and confidence keeps you going.
Sophia, one trick I often recommend to English learners is shadowing. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yes, that's where you listen to someone speaking and repeat what they say immediately. Right?
Exactly. You mimic their pronunciation, rhythm, even their emotion. It helps improve speaking and listening at the same time.
That's a fantastic method. I've used it myself with other languages. It's like training your mouth and your ear together.
Totally. And it's something you can do alone with a video, a podcast, even with songs.
Speaking of songs, do you think music is a good way to learn English?
Absolutely. Music helps with vocabulary, slang, emotion, pronunciation, and it's fun. When you enjoy the learning process, it sticks.
I love that. It's not just about textbooks and rules. Language is alive.
Right? And another tip: learners should try speaking to themselves. Describe what you're doing. Like, I am making tea. Now I am sitting down.
Yes, narrate your day in English. It may feel silly at first, but it works.
It really does. Your brain gets used to forming English sentences quickly and naturally.
And Jacob, let's talk about fear again, especially the fear of speaking with native speakers.
The big one. People think natives will laugh or judge, but most native speakers are kind and even impressed when someone tries to speak their language.
Exactly. And in my experience, native speakers are often encouraging. They want to help you improve.
Plus, most people understand what it feels like to learn a new language. It's brave.
So for our listeners, don't wait to speak until you're fluent. Speak to become fluent.
Yes, make mistakes. That's how you grow. Every mistake is a step forward.
And let's not forget about reading. What kind of things should beginners read?
I'd say start with short stories, dialogues, or even comic books. Simple language but fun and easy to follow.
And what about subtitles? Should learners use English subtitles when watching movies?
Definitely. First, watch with subtitles in your own language. Then try English subtitles. Then no subtitles.
Step by step. I like that. And repeat the same video if needed. Repetition builds understanding.
Also, learners can keep a word journal. Every new word they hear or read, write it down with a sentence.
That's a great habit. It's not just about the word, it's about how it's used.
Exactly. Like, run is simple, but run out of time or run into someone, those are different.
Yes, phrasal verbs can be tricky. but they're everywhere in English.
Maybe we should do a whole episode just on phrasal verbs.
I'd love that. Let us know, listeners, if you want that episode next.
Another thing that helps with learning English is speaking with other learners. You don't always need a native speaker.
Yes, I've seen people improve so much just by practicing with other students, even if their English levels are different.
Right? You build confidence, correct each other, and you feel less nervous because you know they're learning too.
That's why language exchange programs are so helpful. You teach someone your language, and they help you with English.
Exactly. And online platforms make it easier than ever. You can find someone from anywhere in the world.
I love that the internet has opened up language learning. When I was younger, we had to rely on CDs or books.
Same here. Now you've got YouTube, podcasts, free courses, apps like Duolingo or HelloTalk.
And still, people feel overwhelmed because of too many options.
That's true. I always say pick 1 or 2 tools and stick to them for a while. Don't jump between 20 apps.
Focus is key. Quality over quantity. You don't need everything, you just need consistency.
That's the word, consistency. Even 20 minutes a day can do wonders if you do it every day.
Yes. You don't need to study for hours in one sitting. It's better to be regular than intense once a week.
And don't forget to rest. The brain needs time to absorb new information.
Definitely. Sleep helps memory. And breaks actually help your brain process what you've learned.
You know what else is powerful? Talking out loud, even reading out loud.
Oh yes. It improves pronunciation, builds muscle memory in your mouth, and helps you notice mistakes.
And if you can, record yourself. Then listen back. You'll notice how you sound, where you need to improve.
That's a great tip. A lot of people are shy to hear their voice, but it's so helpful.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward at first, but it works. You become your own teacher.
Jacob, what do you think about learning grammar? Should people focus on it early or later?
Good question. I think grammar is important, but not at the beginning. Early on, just speak and listen. Get used to the flow.
I agree. Once you're comfortable using basic sentences, then you can start organizing the grammar rules in your head.
Exactly. Learn like a child, copy, repeat, and then understand the rules later.
And when you do learn grammar, learn it through examples, not just rules on paper.
Yes, real-life examples are key. For instance, she runs, not just third-person singular.
When you see grammar in context, it makes sense. And it sticks.
And that brings me to another idea, storytelling. Even short stories help connect grammar, vocabulary, and structure.
Oh, I love using stories. You remember the words better because they have meaning and emotion.
Right? Instead of just saying, I eat an apple. Try, yesterday I was walking in the park, and I saw a shiny red apple on the ground.
That's so much richer. You're practicing verbs, past tense, adjectives, and sentence structure, all at once.
Plus, it's fun. You can make up stories or talk about your day in story form.
I woke up this morning, made some coffee, opened my English book. Even a simple story helps.
Exactly, and that brings language to life.
Jacob, what would you say to someone who's been learning English for years, but still feels stuck?
I'd say try something new. If you've been only reading, try speaking. If you've been studying alone, find a partner.
Great advice. Sometimes we get stuck in routines that don't challenge us anymore.
Yes, and don't compare yourself to others. Focus on your journey.
Absolutely. Everyone learns differently, and at a different pace. It's not a race.
And most importantly, enjoy the process. If you're having fun, you'll stick with it.
Fun is the secret ingredient. Play games, laugh at your mistakes, sing badly, just keep going.
One of my students used to sing English karaoke every night. Her pronunciation got so good,
I love that. That's learning with joy.
and joy creates memory. You'll remember the song lyrics forever.
Jacob, should learners translate everything into their own language first?
Not always. At the beginning, yes, but later try to think directly in English.
Thinking in English is a huge step. Even small thoughts like, I'm hungry, or, where is my phone?
Yes, start simple, then build up. What should I cook today? Or, I need to charge my laptop.
And over time, English becomes automatic.
That's the goal, to make it natural, not forced.
And Jacob, what about accents? Some learners are really self-conscious about their accent.
Oh, yes. Let me say this clearly: having an accent is not a problem. It means you speak more than one language. And that's amazing.
I love that. An accent is a sign of courage, not a flaw.
Exactly. As long as people understand you, that's what matters. Clarity over perfection.
And sometimes, accents even make you more interesting.
Totally. Look at all the international actors, politicians, teachers. Many of them have accents and speak powerfully.
So, to all our listeners, don't be afraid of your accent. Own it. Jacob, let's talk about listening skills now. Some people say they understand written English, but spoken English feels too fast.
Oh yes, that's very common. Spoken English can sound fast because of connected speech, contractions, and natural rhythm.
Like how we say, I'm gonna, instead of, I am going to, or, wanna, instead of, want to.
Exactly, and native speakers often blend words together. Did you eat? Becomes did ya eat?
That can be so confusing for learners at first.
Definitely. That's why I always recommend listening to real conversations. Podcasts, interviews, YouTube videos, not just textbook audio.
The more you hear natural English, the easier it becomes to recognize patterns.
And it's okay if you don't catch every word. Focus on the main idea.
Yes, don't panic. Even native speakers don't hear every single word clearly.
Right? We use context all the time. If I say, I grabbed my umbrella because it was, your brain fills in, raining.
That's a great point. Our brains are smarter than we think when it comes to language.
You just need exposure. Even passive listening, like playing English audio while doing chores, can help.
I love that tip. Sometimes I tell people, make English your background music.
That's perfect. You train your ears without pressure.
And later, you can listen again more carefully and try to repeat what you hear.
That's called shadowing, repeating right after the speaker. It's great for improving pronunciation and rhythm.
Shadowing feels like a workout for your mouth, doesn't it?
It really does. But the results are amazing if you do it regularly.
Jacob, some learners worry about using slang or informal language. Should they avoid it?
Not at all. It depends on the situation. It's good to understand both formal and informal English.
Yes, like knowing, how are you, is formal, but what's up is informal.
Exactly. If you only learn textbook phrases, real conversations might confuse you.
I once had a student who didn't know what hang out meant. He thought it was something bad.
That happens a lot, so slang and idioms are worth learning. Just know when to use them.
Right. Don't say, hey dude, to your boss, but it's fine with friends.
Absolutely. And it makes your English more colorful and natural.
Jacob, do you have a favorite English idiom?
I like break the ice. It means to start a conversation or reduce tension.
That's a great one. I like hit the books. It means to study hard.
Oh yes, and under the weather, for when someone is feeling sick.
Idioms really show the culture behind the language.
They do, and they make English fun.
What about writing, Jacob? A lot of learners say writing is the hardest skill.
Yes, because it requires grammar, vocabulary, structure all at once.
So how can people get better at writing in English?
Start small. Even keeping a short daily journal helps. Just write about your day in simple sentences.
Like, today I went to the market. I bought apples. It was sunny.
Exactly. Then slowly add more details. I went to the market around 10 a.m. It was crowded, but I found fresh apples.
That's a great way to build fluency step by step.
And don't worry about mistakes at first. The goal is to express yourself.
Yes, you can always edit later. Just write first, fix later.
And reading helps your writing too. The more you read, the better you write.
Because you absorb sentence structures, word choices, punctuation without even realizing.
That's right. Your brain builds a sense of what sounds right.
And when you're ready, try writing short stories, emails, or even comments in English forums.
Oh, that's a great idea. Forums and discussion boards give you real interaction and feedback.
I once told a student to write Facebook posts in English. It helped her practice in a fun way.
That's clever. and it keeps you motivated when friends reply.
Let's also touch on fear. Many learners are afraid of making mistakes.
Yes, that fear can block progress. But here's the truth: mistakes are necessary.
100% agreed. Mistakes mean you're trying, you're learning.
Exactly. Every fluent speaker has made thousands of mistakes. That's how they got fluent.
And most people are kind. They'll help you, not laugh at you.
Right. And if someone does laugh, ignore them. They're not worth your time.
Your courage is more powerful than their opinion.
Well said, Sophia.
Thank you, Jacob. I think confidence is the real secret ingredient in language learning.
Yes. Not just knowledge, but the courage to use it.
That's what turns a learner into a speaker.
And the good news: confidence grows with use. Speak more, fear less.
Beautifully said. And to everyone listening, your English is already better than you think. Jacob, let's talk about real life situations now. Like, imagine you're a learner walking into a coffee shop in an English speaking country. What kind of phrases should they know?
Great topic. First, it helps to know basic greetings. So when you walk in, the barista might say, "Hi, how are you today?"
And you can respond with something simple like, "I'm good, thanks. How are you?"
Yes, and then they'll probably ask, "What can I get for you?" That's your cue to order.
Right, like, "Can I get a medium lat, please?"
Or, "I'd like a cappuccino with oat milk."
And don't forget to say, "Please," and "Thank you." Politeness goes a long way.
Absolutely. Even if your English isn't perfect, people appreciate kindness.
What if you don't understand something the barista says?
Just say, "Sorry, can you say that again slowly?" Or, "I'm still learning English." Most people will be happy to help.
I love that. Being honest builds connection, not judgment.
Exactly. And every small conversation is a chance to practice.
Speaking of practice, some learners don't have English speakers around them. What do you recommend for those situations?
If you don't have native speakers, create an English environment for yourself.
Like changing your phone language to English.
Yes, and watching movies with English subtitles, or joining online English groups.
There are also apps where you can find language exchange partners.
Definitely. Tandem, HelloTalk, even Facebook groups.
I used to talk with someone in Brazil who was learning English, while I practiced Portuguese.
That's perfect. You help each other and build confidence.
And you learn about different cultures too. It's like traveling without leaving your house.
Language learning really is a window to the world.
Let's switch gears and talk about accents. Many learners worry that their accent isn't good enough. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's a big one. First of all, everyone has an accent.
Yes, even native speakers have regional accents.
Exactly. So don't aim for perfection, aim for clarity.
Being understood is more important than sounding native.
And honestly, accents are beautiful. They show your background and your journey.
I completely agree. Your accent tells a story.
If people understand you, you're doing great.
And if they don't, just repeat slowly or use different words.
Communication is flexible. There's always another way to express something.
Let's talk about vocabulary now. Some learners try to memorize hundreds of words at once. Do you think that works?
Not really. It's better to learn words in context.
Like learning the word appointment with the phrase, "I have a doctor's appointment."
Yes, because you remember it better and know how to use it.
Flashcards are helpful, but they're more powerful with example sentences.
Exactly. And repetition over time helps it stick.
Spaced repetition is so powerful. You review words just before you forget them.
That's how your brain says, "Okay, this is important. I'll keep it."
I also love using new words in a journal or conversation as soon as I learn them.
That's perfect. When you use a word, it becomes part of your active vocabulary.
So passive vocabulary is what you understand, and active is what you can use, right?
Yes. And the goal is to move words from passive to active.
Slowly but steadily, no rush.
And don't worry if you forget a word sometimes. That's normal.
I forget words in my own language sometimes.
Me too, it happens to everyone.
Learning English isn't about being perfect. It's about expressing yourself.
Exactly. Fluency is being able to keep the conversation going, even when you make a mistake.
Yes, fluency is flow, not perfection. Jacob, do you remember a time when someone surprised you with their English progress?
Oh, yes, there was a student from Vietnam who barely spoke in the beginning. She was so shy.
What changed?
She started listening to English podcasts every day, and she kept a journal where she wrote 3 sentences daily. After 6 months, she was chatting confidently in class.
That's amazing. Daily habits really work.
They do. Small, consistent steps beat intense short bursts.
Like going to the gym, consistency wins.
Exactly. Language is a muscle, use it or lose it.
What about English learners who get stuck at the intermediate level?
Ah, the famous intermediate plateau.
Yes, many learners say, I've learned a lot, but I'm not improving anymore.
That usually means they need to change their routine. Try harder content, more speaking, or focus on specific goals.
So, mix it up, watch a challenging movie, join a debate, write an article,
Yes, push your boundaries.
and sometimes, reviewing basics with fresh eyes helps too.
Definitely. Going back to grammar or pronunciation with more experience can give new insights.
I love that. Language learning isn't a straight line. It's a journey.
With ups and downs, but always forward if you keep going.
Jacob, earlier you mentioned something that so many learners face translating in their head. Let's dive into that.
Oh, yes, it's one of the biggest hurdles. Most people start by thinking in their native language and then trying to convert that to English.
And that takes time, right? So the conversation feels slow or awkward.
Exactly. It's like your brain has to do extra work before you even speak.
I remember doing that when I was learning Spanish. I'd think in English, translate, then speak, and sometimes the sentence didn't work.
Happens all the time. That's why moving toward thinking in English is such a powerful goal.
So, how do learners actually start thinking in English? It sounds big.
It does, but it starts small. You can begin by describing what you're doing in English.
Like, I'm brushing my teeth. Or, I'm walking to the store.
Exactly. Narrate your day in simple English sentences, even silently.
That's such a great tip. What else can help with that?
Flash thoughts. Try to name objects around you in English like chair, window, sun, blue sky.
That builds automatic word recall, right?
Yes, and eventually you stop needing to translate. The word just comes to you in English.
I also love shadowing as a technique. Have you used that?
Absolutely. For those listening who don't know, shadowing means repeating what someone says in real time like an echo.
You can do it with YouTube videos, movies, or podcasts.
And it improves pronunciation, rhythm, and your brain starts linking meaning and sound directly without your native language.
That's so powerful. Even 10 minutes a day can make a big difference.
Definitely. It builds fluency and thinking in English at the same time.
What about writing? Can it help with this too?
Yes, journaling in English is one of the best ways to shift your internal voice.
And you can keep it simple. Just write about your day, how you feel, what you want to do tomorrow.
It doesn't need to be perfect grammar either. The point is to use the language.
And over time, those sentences become your thoughts.
Exactly. Writing is thinking. So, writing in English helps you think in English.
Jacob, do you think learners should stop using their native language completely when learning English?
Not at all. Your native language is an asset, but it should be a tool, not a crutch.
That's a good way to put it. It helps you understand concepts at the start, but don't rely on it forever.
Right. Use it to learn, but practice living in English when you can.
So bilingual dictionaries are okay, but don't be afraid to try English to English explanations.
Yes, that's another great habit. Use simple definitions instead of direct translations.
Like learning, happy, means feeling good or pleased, instead of translating it to your native word.
Exactly. That helps your brain form direct links with English meanings.
Another big struggle I've heard is fear of making mistakes.
Oh, that fear is EAGE. It stops people from speaking.
What do you usually say to help learners overcome that fear?
I tell them this: mistakes are proof that you're trying. And trying is the only path to fluency.
So true.
Think about children, they make tons of mistakes when learning to speak. But no one tells them to stop.
That's how they learn. They experiment with language.
Adults need to give themselves the same permission to experiment.
I've also noticed that most native speakers don't care about your grammar. They care about what you're trying to say.
Communication is the goal, not grammar perfection.
If you say, he go to store yesterday, people will still understand you.
Yes, and the more you speak, the more your grammar will improve naturally.
So speak early, speak often, and don't be afraid to get it wrong.
Absolutely. Mistakes are part of the process.
Let's talk about listening skills now. Some learners understand written English well, but struggle when people speak fast.
Oh yes, fast speech can be tricky. Native speakers often connect words and reduce sounds.
Like, what are you doing? Becomes, what you doing?
Exactly. And if you only study textbook English, that kind of natural speech can feel overwhelming.
What's your advice for improving listening?
Start with slow or clear speech podcasts. Then gradually increase the difficulty.
And it's okay to listen multiple times.
Definitely. First, listen for general meaning. Then listen again for keywords or grammar.
I sometimes use transcripts and read along too.
That's a great habit. Listening, slow reading, strong language input.
And even just playing English audio in the background can help your ears get used to the sound.
Yes, passive listening still builds familiarity over time.
It's like tuning your brain to a new frequency.
Exactly. And eventually, fast speech feels more normal.
Jacob, do you have any fun or creative ways to make learning English more enjoyable?
Yes, turn it into a game. Try vocabulary bingo or challenge yourself to use 5 new words in a conversation.
Or watch a show and write down 10 new phrases to use that week.
I also love story building games. One person says a sentence and the other continues the story.
That's such a fun way to practice. And it builds creativity too.
Learning doesn't have to be serious all the time. It should be fun.
Because when you enjoy it, you keep coming back.
And that's the secret: consistent, enjoyable learning.
Language should feel alive, not like a test. Let's shift gears a little. Jacob, English is also a global travel language, right?
Absolutely. Whether you're in Europe, Asia, or the Americas, chances are you'll use English at airports, hotels, or restaurants.
So for learners planning to travel, what are some essential English phrases they should know?
Let's start at the airport. One of the most common lines is, "Where is the check?" Encounter for airline name.
That's useful. And also, how much is the baggage fee?
Yes, or "Where is gate 14?" Short, clear questions like these help you navigate easily.
I always recommend memorizing, "Excuse me, can you help me?"
That's a golden phrase. It works in almost every situation.
Okay, let's imagine a traveler arrives at a hotel. What kind of conversation might happen?
Great idea. I'll be the traveler.
I'll be the receptionist. Let's play it. Good evening, welcome to the Ocean View Hotel. Do you have a reservation?
Yes, I booked a room under the name Jacob Miller.
Perfect. Let me check. Yes, we have your booking. 1 king size bed for 3 nights, correct?
That's right. Is breakfast included?
Yes, it's served from 7 to 10 a.m. in the dining hall.
Great, thank you. Could I also get a wake-up call at 6 a.m. tomorrow?
Absolutely, we'll arrange that for you. Here's your key room 304. Enjoy your stay.
Thank you very much.
That's a perfect example of real life English. Simple and direct.
And practicing short role plays like this is incredibly helpful for learners.
It builds confidence. You know what to expect.
And you can even rehearse both sides of the dialogue when studying alone.
Yes, pretend to be the traveler and the receptionist. It makes learning fun too. How about ordering food at a restaurant? That's another big one.
Oh yes. Let's role play again. This time I'm the waiter.
Sounds fun.
Hello, welcome to Bella's Cafe. Here's the menu. Can I get you something to drink first?
Yes, I'll have an iced tea, please.
Sure. Are you ready to order food or do you need more time?
I'm ready. I'll take the grilled chicken with vegetables.
Excellent choice. Would you like any dessert today?
Not today, thank you.
All right, your order will be ready shortly. Enjoy your meal.
I love these simple but natural conversations.
And notice how polite phrases like please, thank you, and I'll have make the experience smoother.
Also, learners should try to listen to native speakers in restaurants or cafes to get used to the rhythm.
Yes, even watching food vloggers on YouTube can help.
What about if someone gets lost? What English should they use?
Another great situation. Excuse me, how do I get to the train station? Is a classic.
Or, is this the right bus to downtown?
Exactly. And if you don't understand the answer, say, can you please repeat that slowly?
That's so useful. People often speak too fast when giving directions.
And don't be afraid to ask again. Most people are happy to help.
I like using gestures too, like pointing at a map while asking.
That's smart. Visuals plus English to better communication.
Jacob, what do you think about learning common travel signs in English?
Oh, yes, signs like restroom, exit, no entry, check-in, customs, and baggage claim.
Those are everywhere in airports and stations.
Learners should take photos of signs and translate them. It builds vocabulary and visual memory.
That's a great tip. Learning by seeing is powerful.
Definitely. Travel English is about being practical, not perfect.
So even short, clear sentences can take you a long way.
Exactly. Ticket, please? Or one coffee to go is enough?
This is making me want to travel.
Same here, and it's so cool when you can use English confidently in new places.
It really opens up the world. I think we've covered a lot of ground today. From learning methods and motivation to real life travel English.
Yeah, this has been such a helpful and practical conversation.
I hope our listeners feel more confident and inspired to keep learning. Remember, small steps every day lead to big improvements.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes, they're part of the journey.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jacob.
Always a pleasure, Sophia.
And to everyone listening, if you enjoyed this episode of the English Hour, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. New episodes drop every day to help you learn English in a fun and natural way.
Stay curious, keep practicing, and we'll see you next time.
Until then, take care and happy learning.